The sky above Rolonfa was filled with shadows. Alien ships hovered in silence, thousands of them. Their hulls were dark, shaped like long claws or bone wings. Their engines pulsed softly, glowing red against the blackness of space. Below them, the last human colony sat quiet, small, fragile, and full of people who had no idea what was coming. The Zorak Empire had arrived. They didn't speak, they didn't warn, they just watched, waiting inside one of the Zorak command ships. Admiral Korth stood near a wide window. His eyes, cold and violet, stared down at the planet. Around him, officers moved with quiet precision. "Any human warships?" he asked. "None," one of his captains replied. "Their defense grid is down. No orbital response. They don't even have satellites." Korth nodded. "Then today, we finish what the galaxy should have ended years ago." On the surface, in the colony city of New Haran, children played under the dome. A man named Elias ran a small tool shop. A woman named Dr. Solon tended to the sick. People lived simply, far from Earth, far from the wars. The colony had no army, no weapons, just old comlinks and hope. They believed the peace treaty had held. They believed the galaxy had forgiven them. They were wrong. Korth raised his clawed hand. "Prepare to fire," he ordered. "Level the city. Make it fast." Across his fleet, energy weapons charged. Hundreds of warships lit up, ready to burn a planet in seconds. That's when the lights in space changed. A ripple, a low hum, and then it arrived. A ship appeared above the planet, not through warp, not through gate. It descended slow, massive, silent, bigger than any human ship on record, 5 times the size of a dreadnought, longer than a city, covered in black armor that shimmered like oil. No markings, no ID signals, no weapons visible. Just one shape, a human Titan-class warship. On the Zorak bridge, silence fell. Korth stepped back. "What is that?" No one answered. Scanners failed. Targeting failed. Communication links refused to connect. The warship simply hovered. Watching. Unmoving. Like a god that had returned. Panic spread through the Zorak fleet. Several captains demanded orders. Others backed away. Some turned off their weapons without being told. One ship began to drift. Korth shouted, "Stay in formation. It hasn't fired. It hasn't moved." But no one could explain it. It didn't need to move. Its presence was enough. On the colony below, alarms went silent. People ran outside, shielding their eyes. They saw the warship in the sky. It didn't look like salvation. It looked like judgment. Elias, the tool shop owner, whispered, "That's not supposed to be real." Dr. Solon stared up. It was decommissioned. It was just a story. But it wasn single quotes to dog. The Titan warship was here. And everything had changed. Back in orbit, one of the Zorak captains opened a private channel. "I'm leaving," he said to Korth. "We were told the Titans were myths." Korth growled, "You leave, and you die as a traitor." But the captain disconnected. Then his ship jumped. Fled. The rest of the fleet watched it go. Still, the Titan did not move. Still, it said nothing. Still, the silence grew. Admiral Korth turned to his data crew. "Find the ship's registry. Get me Earth command." No response. "Sir, Earth signals have gone dark. It's as if they don't exist anymore." Korth froze. "What? We checked galactic archives. Earth is gone from the records." Everyone in the room stopped breathing. One of them whispered, "It's happening again." Years ago, Earth was almost wiped out. Not by weapons, not by invasion, but by memory. A galactic treaty erased them from maps, files, and databases. Humans were cast out, forgotten by agreement. And Earth allowed it. Quietly, peacefully, too peacefully. Some said they vanished. Some said they went underground. Some said they were building something. Something that would end all wars. Something that didn't need to fight. Something that just needed to show up. The Titan was proof. Proof that Earth hadn't died. It had waited. And now it had sent a single message, not in words, but in fear. Inside the Titan, no lights glowed. No crew moved. Only one man stood on the bridge. Alone. Commander Rael Voss. Once a hero, then a criminal. Now something else. He stared through the viewglass with calm eyes. No screens. No weapons ready. Just silence. The Titan's AI asked, "Commander, engage weapons." He shook his head slowly. "No, let them feel it first." Admiral Korth snapped orders. "All ships, lock weapons. Target the Titan." They tried, but their targeting failed. Every system flickered. Every scan returned static. And then the lights died. Not on one ship, on all Zorak ships' engines. Stopped humming. Weapons went offline. Gravity reversed for seconds. Chaos. It wasn't an EMP. It wasn't a hack, it was something deeper. The Titan was not fighting, that it was unwriting their presence. Korth screamed, "Retreat! Full retreat!" Half the fleet jumped without permission. The rest followed. No shots fired, no shots fired, no damage taken, no war begun. Just one ship, one silent ship, and the galaxy had already lost. Down on the colony, people cried, not from fear, but from relief. Some fell to their knees, some called it a miracle. Elias looked up and said quietly, "I don't know what Earth made up there, but it doesn't want revenge." Dr. Solon nodded. "It wants them to remember." The Titan stayed in orbit, watching, waiting, no contact, no change. The Zorak Empire retreated. Their leaders held emergency meetings. Their fleets rewrote tactics, because now there was a question none of them could answer. What if Earth never stopped building, and what if that ship was just the first? For 2 days, the Titan warship remained still in orbit. It did not speak, it did not move, it simply watched. The colony below, New Haran, returned to quiet life barely. People walked slowly, spoke less. Children were not allowed outside. Everyone kept looking up, wondering if the ship would leave or act. It hovered like a shadow from old nightmares. Except this nightmare had not hurt them, not yet. In the command centers of 100 alien systems, the same question spread. Who activated the Titan? The Titan-class warships were not supposed to exist anymore. Only 3 were ever built. 2 were destroyed. This one was called Judicator 1, and it was never deployed, or so the records said. But Judicator 1 had woken, and only one man could have done that. His name was Commander Rael Voss, a war hero from Earth's lost era, a strategist so brilliant that even the enemy copied his tactics, a man who disappeared after the Xanar betrayal, where a peace fleet of diplomats was destroyed in ambush under his watch. Galactic courts blamed him. Earth exiled him. He was never seen again, until now. Inside the Titan's silent halls, Rael Voss walked alone. The ship was not built for crew comfort. It was not a living vessel, it was a response to cruelty. The walls pulsed with energy, the floors shifted with silent mechanisms, lights moved like waves, and everything responded to Rael's steps. In the central core, the AI spoke. "Commander, enemy fleets have retreated. Human colonies report minimal damage. Do you wish to disengage?" Rael didn't answer. We stood in front of a black console, touching it lightly. It flickered, showing old images, burned Earth cities, treaty papers torn in silence, files of colonies left undefended by the Galactic Union. One word repeated in the data stream: forgotten. Rael finally spoke. His voice was low, tired. "I told them peace would not last." He turned toward the AI core. "Why did the ship wake now?" The AI responded calmly. "Unauthorized fleets entered human-designated protection zones." Silence protocol triggered. Rael closed his eyes. "So the galaxy still thinks we're weak." He smiled bitterly. "Then it's time they remember why we left." Far across the stars, in the Zorak throne world, a secret meeting was called. High commanders, fleet lords, and science minds sat around a floating table. A single image hovered above them, the Titan warship, still over the colony. They stared in silence. One admiral whispered, "That ship never fired. And yet, we ran." Another said, "That man, Rael Vossi, was removed from all files. How is he still alive?" The science director spoke next. "He is not just alive, he is active." She tapped her console. A holoclip played, Rael walking through the Titan's core. The recording was old. "There is something wrong with him," she said. "No normal man can survive inside a Titan core that long." "What are you saying?" a commander asked. She hesitated. "I think Rael Voss is no longer entirely human." Back on the Titan, Rael stood in a circular chamber called the Heart Memory. The walls played flashes of recorded battles, faces of friends lost, betrayals signed in ink, and the silence of Earth's exile. He touched one image. It was his daughter, long grown, now lost to time. Rael clenched his fist. He spoke not to the ship, but to himself. "They left us no choice. They erased our honor, our names, even our grief." He stepped onto a central platform. "But this ship doesn't forget." A sound filled the halls, not a warning, a heartbeat. The Titan pulsed, lights ignited engines. Long quiet hummed with power. The ship didn't come alive, it remembered Saren. An alien biologist from the colony watched it from the ground. She stood on the colony roof, wind brushing her face. She had studied human history in secret. She knew who Rael Voss was. She whispered to herself, "He's not here for revenge." She stared up, afraid. He's here to correct the story. Inside the Titan, screens opened across the galaxy. Private networks, encrypted frequencies, blacklisted servers. They all received one message. This is Commander Rael Voss of the Judicator 1. The Treaty of Collective Silence has failed. All nations involved in the erasure of Earth will now face observation. First offense will be judged. Second offense will be answered. No more warnings. Panic followed. The Alari Republic activated defense codes not used. In 50 years, the Threx enclaves closed their borders. One empire tried to trace the Titan's location. Its entire tracking system crashed, and they did not speak, because they knew. They had seen Rael Voss once before, at Xana, and they had hoped he stayed buried. Now, the Titan had woken, and the galaxy was no longer the same. For 3 days, the Titan warship hovered above RAL on -4, no movement, no message. No attack. But no one across the galaxy dared to approach it. Inside Zorik Military Command, panic settled into silence. Their empire had never lost a full fleet without a fight, and yet they had withdrawn like frightened prejudiced because of one ship, a ship that didn't fire, a ship that just arrived. The Zorik Emperor ordered another strike group, elite warships, newer designs, hardened against time-tech EMPs and AI corruption. Test it. The Emperor growled. Push the Titan, force it to react. But even his generals hesitated because deep down they remembered. Years ago, Rael Voss had walked into an alien stronghold alone and no one came out but him. Now he had a ship and silence that scared them more than any weapon. The new Zorik strike force entered orbit, fast. Sharp. 4 destroyers, 1 command frigate, weapons ready. Shields full, engines red. Hot. As they formed around the Titan, its black armor reflected their lights like a still ocean. Still no response. Still no move. Captain Theron of the Zorak flagship opened a channel. This is Captain Theron. You are in violation of Zorik orbital space. No reply. He sent again, louder. This is a warning. Retreat, or be fired upon. The Titan remained silent, its engines cold, its cannons still retracted. No threat, no defense, just watching. Theron growled, so be it. He raised his hand. Fire on the warship. His gunners aimed. Locked. Pressed fire. Nothing happened. The screens blinked. The guns failed. Theron looked round, confused. Diagnostics. His tech officer looked up. Pale, sir. The weapons didn't jam, they just don't exist anymore. What do you mean, don't exist? Theron barked. The officer pointed at the screen. There were no cannons on the ship. Modeled. No missiles in the inventory. Even the ship's design blueprint had changed. On paper, they were no longer a battleship. Just a cargo hauler, a weak one, an empty one. Theron froze. The Titan is rewriting our ship data. The officer whispered, terrified. Not just data, our reality. Down on Relan 4, Theron watched the sky from the colony tower. The Zorak ships moved erratically, now shaking, spinning, some drifting as if confused. Then, one by one they dimmed, their lights faded, their engines slowed, until all 5 ships floated in space like tombstones. Not dead. Just forgotten. Inside the Titan, Rael Voss watched without emotion. The AI spoke calmly. 5 targets disabled. Timeline sync initiated. Rael leaned forward. Do not destroy them. Let them float. Let the others see. The AI paused. Why? Rael's voice was steady. Because fear spreads faster than fire. Across the stars, dozens of fleets received the footage. Alien captains sat in silence. They watched powerful Zorik warships lose function, not from attack, but from being rewritten. No explosions, no deaths, just erasure. A slow, painful loss of identity, like watching a soldier forget his own name. The Titan sent no message. No explanation. No demands. Just silence. And that was worse than war, because it meant Earth had evolved. They didn't need to fight anymore. They only needed to arrive. Back in the Zorak throne chamber, a younger general asked, why didn't the Titan fire? Why not destroy them? The Emperor, older, wiser, shook his head. Because destruction is mercy. He stood slowly, hands behind his back, and Rael Voss came to judge. In the Titan's bridge, Rael stared out the wide view. 5 enemy ships now drifted like ghosts. He said softly, war doesn't start with the first shot. It starts with a lie. He closed his eyes. And this time, we're ending it with the truth. And for the first time in a century, across 1,000 worlds, alien commanders began to whisper the same words. Do not provoke the Titan. In the quiet after the failed Zorik strike, something strange began to happen across the galaxy. It started small. A minor database failed to load. Earth's coordinates, a deep space sensor array stopped pinging Sol system markers, a galactic star. Chart glitched. Then, maps updated automatically. And Earth was gone. Not destroyed, not hidden. Just deleted. On the colony of New Horizons, Saren sat in front of an old star chart. She stared at the blinking screen. Every known world in the human sphere still showed. Mars, Titan, New Europa, even the small mining outposts. But Earth, empty, a void where home should be. She checked 3 more systems. All gone. Then she realized something worse. Even the word Earth wasn't HFY. Not in history logs, not in treaties, not in criminal records. As if Earth had never existed. In orbit, the Titan remained still, dark, cold. But to every major galactic data core, it was now the only evidence Earth had ever been real. Inside the Titan, Rael Voss sat in the hard memory. He watched the void on a map, the center of human originiest. The AI spoke. Memory lock complete. Earth hidden from all known galactic data streams. External awareness. 0% Rael didn't move. Perfect, he whispered. They erased us once. Now we erase ourselves. Long ago, the Galactic Council had punished Earth by trying to delete it from history. Not with weapons, but with treaties. They removed Earth from Alliance records. They blocked Earth's access to warp networks. They uninvited Earth from trade. And when Earth refused to kneel, they called it dangerous and let the silence bury it. But Earth had learned something in that silence. It learned that power didn't need to speak. It only needed to be remembered at the right time. And now, Earth had done the unthinkable. It had chosen to disappear. On the Zorak throne world, data lords gathered in panic. Our records are corrupt, one whispered. We can't trace their homeworld. We had Earth's location locked for years, another said. We watched it. The Prime Data Lord shook his head. It was never about the location. He tapped the screen, now blank where Earth should be. It was about the idea of Earth, and that idea was now loose. The Titan began transmitting again. One signal, no words. Just a frequency, but every receiver in the galaxy could hear it. It hummed like a heartbeat, and when decrypted it said one thing. Judgment proceeds. History corrects. Observation in progress. Every empire began locking down the Ilari Republic, withdrew ships from neutral borders. The Keth Dominion cancelled its fleet expansion. The Zorak built pulse barriers around their home system. No one dared provoke the Titan again, because if it could delete Earth from memory, what else could it remove? Saren stood on a hilltop above the colony and stared up. The Titan didn't glow. It didn't hum, but it felt heavy, like it was watching not just the present, but the past. She whispered. They didn't vanish because they were afraid. She looked down at her hands, shaking. They vanished because they were done asking for justice. Inside the Titan, Rael Voss stood before a new message feed. One by one, it showed incoming communications from across space. We wish to speak. Can we explain? We offer alliance. We never agreed with the Council's decisions. Please, talk to us. Rael said nothing. He touched the console. Silence mode. Continue. The Titan ignored every message, because this wasn't about politics anymore. This was about truth. And the truth was this. Earth never wanted to rule the galaxy. But if the galaxy insisted on testing Earth's silence again, then Earth would answer in a voice that could not be forgotten. The Titan remained silent in orbit, but across the galaxy, old documents started to surface. Not in public records, not in media, in whispers, in hidden servers, not in hidden servers, in secret vaults of the Empire's treaties. One in particular, Treaty 501Z, the Collective Silence Pact, signed by 27 galactic powers after Earth's last war. The goal was simple: erase Earth from charts, from history, from memory. Most people never knew it existed. Even many leaders thought it was a myth. But now, the Titan returned. It became clear the treaty was real, and it had been broken. Inside the Titan, Commander Rael Voss stood before a stasis vault. Inside it lay a thin metal case marked with the insignia of the old Earth Council. He opened it. Documents sealed by hand, written before Earth vanished. He took them out slowly. One by one, the AI spoke. Treaty files confirmed. Signatures verified. Zorak Empire, Ilari Republic, Keth Dominion, and others listed as active participants. Rael nodded. So they thought we'd stay quiet forever. Flashback. 5 years earlier, a council chamber on Earth. Rael, younger, stood before Earth's leaders, angry, defiant. They won't stop, he said. They don't want peace. They want to erase us because we scare them. The High Speaker answered coldly, we don't need war. Rail, we need silence. We will vanish from their minds. Let them forget us. Rail clenched his jaw, and when they remember, the room fell quiet. No one had an answer. Back in the present, Rail stared at the stars. They remembered, and they came back to finish the job. On the Zoric throne world, emergency meetings filled the night. Fleet. Lord Vash spoke to the inner circle. We broke the treaty. We attacked a colony. A scientist replied. The Titan didn't destroy us. There's still time to fix this. No, Vash said. You don't understand. It's not the treaty we broke. He pointed to the screen showing the Titan hovering in orbit. We broke the silence. In the Alari system, a spy satellite caught something strange. A small Earth-built ship entered orbit above their mining moon. The ship carried no weapons, no crew. Just a single beacon. When scanned, the beacon played a voice. This system participated in the signing of Treaty 501Z. Your silence has been reviewed. Judgment pending. Then the ship exploded in light. Not violent, not deadly, just bright. And afterward, every Alari system lost connection to Earth's past. Any information, any DNA logs, any tech files, gone. They hadn't been attacked, they'd been disconnected. On New Haran, Seren and Elias met in the old Radio tower. The skies were calm, but something was building. Seren showed Elias a decoded message. This is from 27 years ago, she said. Earth gave the galaxy a choice. Leave us be, let us go. No punishment, no interference. Elias frowned. They didn't listen. Seren looked toward the Titan. They didn't think Earth would remember. Inside the Titan, Rail stood before the console again. He tapped one button. Prepare evidence broadcast. Public transmission, no encryption, the AI asked. Are you sure, Commander? He didn't blink. They erased us to control the story. Now we give it back to everyone. A message was sent. Not to the rulers, not to the militaries, but to the people of the galaxy. Screens lit up. HOLO-devices turned on by themselves, and a calm voice spoke. This is the truth they buried. Years ago, Earth offered peace. We were denied. We were erased. Now the silence is broken, and we remember everything. To those who betrayed the treaty, judgment is coming, not by war, not by force, but by truth. Billions across the stars watched the images, footage of Earth's cities burning after the Xano betrayal, old documents signed in darkness, the final vote where the galaxy chose silence over justice, and Rail Voss, in chains, exiled. Galaxy changed in those minutes, because now everyone knew, and not all were loyal to their governments. The Zoric Emperor stood in fury. Cut a feed. He screamed, destroy the Titan, but his officers didn't move. They just stared at their screens, silent. The truth had broken more than a treaty. It had broken control. And the Titan, it remained still, watching, judging, waiting for the next betrayal. And this time, if the galaxy made one more mistake, there would be no more warnings. Above Relon 4, the Titan warship finally moved. Slow, precise. It adjusted position just a few kilometers higher in orbit. But across the galaxy, everyone noticed, because for the first time since it appeared, it turned. Not toward the planet, not toward a fleet, but toward empty space. And then, a message was sent. Short, clear, UNENCRYPTED, to the signers of Treaty 501Z. Appear, explain, be witnessed, refuse, and be judged in silence. Most leaders thought it was a threat, but Rail Voss was not threatening anyone. He was preparing a trial, not behind closed doors. Not in a courtroom, in orbit, where the galaxy could watch. A week later, 5 ships arrived, 1 from the Zoric Empire, 1 from the Alari Republic. 1 from the Keth Dominion. 1 from the Council of Orion, and the last from the Federation of Traders, who had secretly voted against the treaty but were forced to comply. Each ship carried 1 delegate. Each delegate carried 1 question. How much does Earth remember? The Titan opened docking ports. Each delegate was scanned, disarmed, and escorted alone through long black corridors. They passed walls that shifted with light. Each pulse seemed to echo past scenes. They heard no footsteps, only memory. In the central chamber, they met Rail Voss. He sat alone, no guards, no weapons, just 1 man, and a ring of hovering light, where evidence played in silence. Documents, war footage, treaty meetings, truth, raw and unfiltered. Rail didn't greet them. He simply said, sit, watch, then answer. The Zoric delegate, Lord Krell, sneered. This is a performance, not a court. Rail looked at him, double quotes, no, this is not justice, this is record. We are not here to debate. We are here to speak aloud what was hidden. Each delegate was forced to admit their world's role in the treaty. Some lied. The Titan responded instantly. The walls showed proof videos, signatures, secret votes. The liars fell quiet. The traitor delegate spoke first, openly. We voted against it, but we were threatened. Rael nodded. Then say it now, out loud. The delegate did, and their recording was transmitted galaxy-wide. The Keth ambassador trembled. We thought Earth was dangerous. Rael stared because we survived your betrayal. The Keth fell silent. The Alari representative said, we wanted peace, not fear. Rael stood slowly, and yet you helped erase the only species that asked for peace while bleeding. Then came the Zorak. Lord Krell leaned forward. You think this changes anything? You think truth will stop war? Rael didn't answer right away. He pressed a control. The entire chamber darkened, and suddenly outside the window 1,000 ships decloaked. Not human, not alien, just quiet. Watching. Krell stood, shocked. What is this? Rael finally spoke. This is the galaxy watching you. You made Earth kneel in silence. Now Earth stands, and everyone gets to see how you justify betrayal. The chamber lit up, a live broadcast. No cuts, no edits. Billions of viewers across the stars. People who never knew Earth's story, now seeing the trial for what it was. Not revenge, remembrance. Rael Voss faced the delegates. This is not a threat. The Titan has not fired a shot. He pointed to the stars. But if you try to silence truth again, we will show you what memory can destroy. The broadcast ended. Delegates returned to their ships shaken, silent. Only the traitor delegate bowed before leaving. You waited. You endured. I hope we never forget that again. Rael said nothing. The Titan closed its hatches, returned to stillness. But across the galaxy, the damage was done. Worlds once loyal to their governments began asking questions. Citizens demanded records. Soldiers began to doubt, because now they knew. Earth never attacked first. Earth was punished for surviving. The Titan made no further move. It didn't need to. The galaxy was now on trial, and Rael Voss had given them all the same sentence. Choose truth, or be forgotten like you tried to forget us. The galaxy trembled, not because of battles, not because of fleets, but because the Titan warship had broadcast the truth. Billions now knew what their leaders had done, how Earth was erased, betrayed, left to die, and Earth. It had returned not with armies, but with memory. Some worlds demanded apologies. Some opened communications with human colonies, but others, afraid of losing power, called it propaganda. They said, Earth lied. They said Rael Voss was a criminal using technology to spread fear. One empire went further, the Valari hegemony. They declared war. The Valari were rich. Overconfident. They had 212 warships, plasma lancers, quantum drills, cloaking fleets, and worst of all, they believed Earth would not strike back. Their first move was fast. They warped to Sector 9G, where a small human station relayed communication for colonies. They didn't speak, didn't send warnings. They fired the moment they arrived. The station exploded into light and dust, for humans died, and Earth's patients died with them. The Titan didn't move, it simply turned. One signal was sent, confirmed. First blood. 1 hour of response. Observation ends. Across the galaxy, screens began a countdown. 59 to 59, 59 to 58. The Valari laughed at the broadcast. One general called it theatrics. One fleet admiral said, let them try at minute 48. The Titan launched one drone. Just one. It exited from a small port. It didn't move fast. It didn't glow. It looked broken. Damaged. Meaningless. But every Valari ship's scanners locked onto it, and then vanished. Not the drone. The ships. One by one, without explosions, Valari warships disappeared. The first vanished with a blink. The second folded inward like paper. The third was scanned and simply erased from every record, like it had never existed. The crew, unknown. The systems, blank. That it was like someone had cut them from the timeline with a knife. At minute 33, panic spread. Admirals screamed orders. Warp out, scatter. But their drives were gone, not broken over. Their ships floated without identity, without heat, without shape. Their own crews forgot who they were. Some began begging to remember their own names. At minute 12, only 10 ships remained. The Valari Emperor himself sent a message. Cease, we surrender. Please, we surrender. There was no reply, because the Titan wasn't listening anymore. It had passed judgment at minute 1 o'clock. The drone returned. No damage, no trace of energy used. It simply docked, and the screen blinked once more. Sentence complete. Memory restored. The war lasted 1 hour, no battles, no weapons, no fire, only correction, only silence. Every empire watched in horror. This was not war, it was a reminder that Earth did not forget, and Earth no longer forgave. Inside the Titan, Rail Voss stood still. No smile, no anger, just a face weathered by years of betrayal. The AI spoke. The Valari fleet has ceased to exist. Final records stored in heart memory. Rail nodded once. Let the galaxy learn. Let them understand. On New Haran, Saren stared at the sky, tears in her eyes, not from joy, not from sorrow, but from the truth. The truth that this is what Earth had become. Not monsters, not tyrants, but judges. And the sentence. 1 hour. The countdown clock disappeared, but everyone remembered, because the next time someone asked, what happens if you cross the humans, the answer would be, you won't remember you ever did. The galaxy had changed, not because of war, but because of one. Shipped up the Titan. It had hovered in silence for weeks, never fired first, never spoke threats. But now, after the 1 hour war, no one dared look away. On 100 worlds, the same question spread. What is the Titan? Some called it a weapon, others called it a god, but the truth was far stranger, because the Titan was beginning to change. Saren stood on the colony roof again. She watched the ship above RAL on -4. It looked different now. The outer hull pulsed, gently like breathing, no longer cold metal, more like a living memory, in orbit, inside the Titan's heart memory. Rail Voss stood at the center console. His eyes were heavy, his body thinner. The ship had taken from him something deep, not life, but time. He had given everything to keep. Earth's promise, silence, truth, judgment. But now, they're starting to understand, he whispered. The AI responded softly. Galaxy records show rising empathy, decreased aggression, increase in curiosity about human culture. Rail closed his eyes. That's good. Then it's almost time. Across the galaxy, broadcasts spread. The treaty was real. Earth had been erased. The Titan had judged one empire, and let the rest choose. Fear began to fade, replaced by something new: respect. On the Zoric throne world, the Emperor watched the Titan on a giant screen. He no longer sent ships, no more threats, just silence. Let it watch, he said. Let it decide. But one species didn't believe. They sent a scout drone toward the Titan. It was fast, shielded, silent. When it reached the ship, it stopped, not because of weapons, but because the Titan stared back. For the first time, the ship turned toward the drone. No signal, no light, just that feeling again, like the ship was alive, watching, remembering, waiting. The drone turned around on its own. Its crew didn't give the order, it simply left, terrified. Inside the Titan, Rail walked to the command deck. He sat in the dark, tired, alone. The AI asked, "Do you wish to return home, Commander?" Rail didn't answer at first. Then he said softly, "Earth doesn't need me anymore." He touched the console. It needs them. Across human colonies, a message appeared. Simple, clear. The Titan is no longer just a ship. It is a mirror. What you send, it returns. Truth in, truth out. Violence in, silence out. Memory in, judgment out. And then one final shift. The Titan vanished. No warp. No drive, flare. No signal. Just gone. Like a dream fading. In daylight, Saren watched the sky for hours. She whispered, "It's gone." Elias stood beside her. "No," he said quietly. "It's everywhere now." The galaxy never saw it again, but every empire changed. Every world taught new history, and every fleet, no matter how strong, left one space empty on their charts. Blank orbit, a reminder, a name unspoken. And in that silence, the galaxy remembered one final truth. The human ship didn't fire first, it only stared back.